Hi, everybody. Welcome. We are so excited that you are here. Thank you for joining us. We apologize for the tech delay here with you, but we are so excited. Hillary and I have a very special guest for you, and we want to welcome her in. We're going to read her bio. So, Hillary, take it away for us.
Yes, thank you all for joining our Two Curls on Oil podcast. This is the last podcast of 2018. I can't believe it. And we have our amazing unicorn, Shannon Hugman, with us. And cultivating an energetic awareness is what Shannon is all about. And the planets are not doing anything to us, but when we have an awareness of which way those energetic currents are flowing, we can actually use that free will to align with them. And Shannon teaches people to interpret astrological energy, and while also guiding them to listen to their own vibrations. And these are things that we talk about all the time, and we thought this would be such a beautiful way to wrap up 2018. And so Shannon especially is excited about her new podcast, What the Heck is Energetic Astrology? And it's available on iTunes, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And she's worked with hundreds of people one-on-one. She's impacted millions of people through this work that she does. And she's hosted live events in person and online. And she has hundreds of people taking her online course, The Art of Astrology Online Academy. And Shannon also works as an emotional healer, as a Reiki practitioner, as a yoga and meditation guide as well. And I actually found Shannon through Laura. And so Laura, maybe you could share with us a little bit about how you found Shannon.
Yes, it's like this circle and trickling effect. So I found Shannon on Instagram through Dr. Laura Hughes, who is one of my friends, and she highly recommended Shannon and her page and doing the 2019 personalized forecast. And I did that with Shannon. I have to say I was blown away. And you guys want to stay tuned because we have a surprise for you. But I got that forecast, sent it to Hills. I was like, you have to talk to this girl. She's amazing. Hillary got it. So
I was obsessed. I'm sure that if we're friends in real life or on Instagram, I've probably already told you about her because I've been so thrilled and I've been sharing about her in my stories. And I love Shannon. We're so glad that you are here with us. Thank you.
Oh, it's so awesome to be here. I mean, the gratitude is mutual because you probably know with Instagram algorithms or whatever it is, shares and just word of mouth and talking to people about the people that you like makes a huge difference. So you girls are rock stars and I'm so grateful.
We are so grateful for you. And so we're going to do a little interview with Shannon because we are just so in awe of everything she does. She shares on her Instagram the current energy. She has so much free value that she offers to all of us. And her podcast is incredible. And I highly recommend that you all check her out. And so we're going to just be digging in a little deeper and getting to know Shannon a little bit more for those of you that have been wanting to do that.
Yes. And Shannon, can you share with us what is energetic astrology? We want to know.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm smiling so much my cheeks are kind of hurting because I'm just so pumped to be here with you both. So anyways, energetic astrology is the language I like to use to talk about what I do because yes, there's an aspect of astrology in terms of we talk about the planets and we talk about the constellations, but it's not traditional astrology because we all know traditional astrology says, we're our sun signs or we look at our horoscopes, and energetic astrology is what I kind of like to call like astro weather, for example. Mm-hmm. And a great place to just start this conversation is with the lunar cycle. It's really easy to, if you talk to someone who works in healthcare or someone with children, we all know the full moon brings something out in us. We also all know that the moon controls the tides, right? The moon controls the water of the.
We're having a little tech issue, but hopefully we can get Shannon back.
Oh, I know Shannon is traveling. She's at an Airbnb and the Wi-Fi is a little tricky. Some of you guys have noticed we popped on a little late because we're having some tech issues. So
yeah, we'll give it a minute and hopefully she will be back with us. And Shannon is so incredible. I love just sharing the 2019 forecasts with friends and family because it's a really affordable way to kind of have that energetic checkup really and see what is going on and what you're feeling and what might be going on in your life. And it's a really economical way to tap into that. And I just felt so aligned after I heard my forecast. Laura, I don't know about you, but I just felt like, I have peace about what is going to happen in 2019 with where I need to go energetically. And it was just really exciting to think about that.
Yeah, it was food for the soul. It was food for the soul. Just really resonated with me. And you guys.
Oh no, am I back?
Yes.
Am I back?
Hopefully. Uh-oh.
I'm back.
Hopefully.
You kind of keep freezing in and out a little bit. Shannon, you gotta love the tech stuff. But if you guys don't follow her on Instagram, you want to, because she does forecasts and she does videos for you, and they really, really resonate. And her podcast is absolutely extraordinary.
And at least she's frozen in a really cute position. Doesn't she look adorable? She's like, you guys, I've got this. Hopefully she'll be back in a second. I love it. You know what? It's fun. This is what it's all about, right? And so we've got our oils and we just oil up, and it's okay because technology's all right. We can for the moment. Yeah.
Okay. I'm so stressed right now.
Don't be stressed. Don't be stressed. You've frozen in really cute positions every time.
I was completely fine while we were chatting before. What the heck? Okay, so am I here?
You're here.
Yeah. You were talking about people, moms know, and people who work at hospitals know that with the lunar cycle.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thanks, Laura. Yeah. So it's about taking an expanded view and coming from a space of realizing we are all energy, right? We are all interconnected in some way. And so maybe when the moon's big and full out there, hey, maybe there's something here. There's a current we can ride. Or maybe like today when we can't see the moon and it's a new moon, maybe there's something there. And so essentially, energetic astrology is being aware of the currents of energy that flow around us, because we have free will. We can choose what we do. So it's not like a horoscope that tells you, oh, this is going to happen and this will happen. And it's not predicting the future or fortune telling. Instead, it's saying, okay, wait, I want to check the weather forecast so I can dress accordingly. So it's almost like, I like to think of it as we have our weather forecast, and it's a little bit of an extension beyond that out into our galaxy and looking at, well, where are the currents of the planets and the moon?
I love that. I love that so much.
And we're getting some questions. Wendy Fulton's asking, what is her Instagram name? So you can follow her at Shannon Hugman there. You can go to her website, www.shannonhugman.com. And we're going to share all this information in our recap post as well as on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. We'll be sharing all the links to reach out to her. And you can follow her on facebook.com/Shannon Hugman Energy. And we're seeing comments that everyone's really excited. And Beth is commenting that Shannon, you were able to put into words clearly some of the things that were going on in her life, and it really helped with her shifting her perception and understanding. So you have lots of fans here watching us. This is
it's awesome. Hi, Beth.
Now, what brought you to this? So how did you end up doing this work?
Great question. So I have to ask myself that sometimes, because it's definitely an alternative path. So when I was a little kid, I could guess people's birthdays, and I would be on the playground, and I'd go up to a stranger from another grade, and I would literally look at them and just feel. It's weird, but I can remember doing it. I'd feel, and I'd say, yeah, I feel like you're born in March, or I feel like you're born, and I would always get it right. And it's one of those things where freaked out the kids on the playground. So I just stopped. And it wasn't until 2000, and so that was when I was like grade 2. It wasn't until like at least 20 years later, in 2010, when I was in a long distance relationship, and I thought, I'm going to read his horoscope, and I'm just going to see what's going on in his horoscope. So I started Googling, researching, horoscopes, love horoscopes specifically, and I found an individual who had a YouTube channel who was talking about where the planets are now. And it wasn't a love horoscope, but he was talking about the sign that Saturn was in and how Jupiter was shifting. And it was just like one of those moments that I'll always remember, where I just felt like, I know what this man is talking about. I understand this. This is a language I understand. And kind of from there, it was just, where can I get more food? And I just started participating on different networks and websites. And I was just so eager to have the conversation, because I really believe that astrology, even though I'm looking for a new word, because I feel that the word astrology has a lot of preconceived notions. For example, if I say I'm going to church and I'm going to the beach, you're going to think a traditional church setting. And so again, that word astrology, we can think of all these traditional things, but maybe I'm, so anyways, astrology is the word for right now until the new language comes in. But I see it as a language, astrology. And the best way to learn a language is to speak it. And I've been really blessed with my online networks to have this conversation with some of the world's best astrologers, just through being willing to just give my energy, blogging, doing vlogs, Google Hangouts, all this kind of stuff. And I was about 5 years into that, of just being like a kid in a candy shop for this conversation, that people started coming to me and saying, okay, well, how much can I pay you to do it for me? And that was weird, because I was a business student with my business degree, planning to go work for the government. And I was like, oh, okay, well, how about this much? And people raved and loved it. And it was just referrals on referrals. And so in 2016, I was a tax preparer, and tax season ended. And I thought, instead of looking for another traditional job, why don't I launch a online storefront? Why don't I really try or put my energy into being accessible to people versus having people reach out to me? And so in 2016, I just went full force with ShannonHugman.com, and it's been going ever since. And an evolution of that was really people then asking, where can I learn what you are doing? And I'm not a traditional astrologer. I don't really turn to traditional astrology books. To be honest, I don't really read any astrology books. So then that's why I created the Art of Astrology Online Academy, which is my online course that basically just teaches everything I know. And I'm also working on a book, The Art of Energetic Astrology, that's hopefully going to come out in 2019, because now where my focus is to give us all this information to interpret it ourselves. I love one-on-one readings. I'll do them forever, I'm sure. But I just okay, and this is the end of the question, coming full circle. But through this journey, it's just brought so much clarity into my life, having an awareness of these cycles. And that's the way to learn it. And that's what kind of brought me on this path, was I would experience the energy, have an awareness of these cycles, and just learn through that experience, and then share my experiences. And it just sort of bloomed and grew from there. So my dream or my vision is a world where we all have this information, so we can all apply it to our own lives. Just like right now, we can all check the weather forecast, right? We all know if we like the rain or if we like the sun. And so my dream is, where we all know, okay, I like it when the moon travels through Virgo, and okay, my boyfriend, when the moon goes through Virgo, that's when he kind of loses it. So it's all about awareness. And this path isn't something I would have ever chosen. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. I didn't even know readings were a thing. But every time I try to run away from it, it comes on stronger. And every time I try to be a normal person, it just doesn't work. So now I'm like, use me, universe, and not really looking back.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And Michelle actually had a question for you. She asked, did you have dreams too that seemed to line up with your gifting?
Yeah. So, great question. It's funny because I'm one of those things where I have I'm very intuitive person. My moon sign is Scorpio. It's funny because a lot of my readings, the examples I use or things will be bang on for people. And it wasn't until, like 5 years into doing readings that my friends mostly would sit me down and say, like, you're psychic or you're intuitive. These aren't just astrology readings, Shannon. And I'd say, oh, no, it's just the charts or whatever. And they're like, no, you're bang on. So with my dreams, those were something that I always just kind of took for granted. I never really thought about, I never really looked at them, just kind of like I never really think about what I say in a reading and when it lands to someone. So I actually don't have an answer to that. I should probably reflect and look more, because for me, I'm a Capricorn sun sign. So I'm very much like earth oriented. What's the work I can do? How can I make a difference? And I don't really stop to pause and say, okay, wait, what's going on like up here? So I think I will start to do that.
Oh, I love that so much. And Shannon, will you share with us what is in the forecast for 2019?
Yes, absolutely. So really excited about this because 2019, I think it's really easy to say the past 5 years at least have been a lot. And I'm not saying that 2019 is going to be kittens and rainbows, but there's some definite saving grace coming in from the planets. So how I like to look at it is I think about our solar system as kind of like a symphony orchestra. And a symphony orchestra has, so many different instruments playing notes at the same time to come together in this, song. So the song of 2019 has a lot of really clear, refined notes. And this is because we have several planets who are in their home signs. So every constellation has a ruling planet. So in 2019, and we're in it now too. It started in November. In 2019, we have Jupiter in its home sign of Sagittarius. We have Neptune in its home sign of Pisces. And we have Saturn in its home sign of Capricorn. And so what this really is, these are long-ranging planets. These planets switch. Jupiter changes every year, Saturn every 2.5 years, and Neptune, I think like every 13 years, but I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 13 years. But anyways, where I'm going with this is it's almost like, when something is really skilled at what it does, or when we have somebody, like, let's say for me, okay, I'm an astrologer. When I'm if I've never been to this before, but if I went to an astrology conference, it'd be like, I'd be in my element. Or when you ladies go to the doTERRA conventions, right? Like, you're in your element. And so we have these planets who are in their element this year. So it's the past few years have been a lot of kind of like, we haven't been in our elements totally. We've been we've been asked to grow, and it's good to not be in our elements all the time, right? It's good to grow and expand and be uncomfortable. But there's also this sense of like, okay, but can we just kind of get a break? And I really feel that 2019 is this year where it comes in and it gives us the hope, I think is a big one. This is Jupiter and Sagittarius. We're going to have a lot of hope. But Saturn and Capricorn is saying, and there's going to be a lot of work. So it's not just a year of dreaming up and then sitting still. It's this year of dreaming up and then really honing in on what do we want to do moment to moment to moment. And Neptune is what I like to call the higher power energy. And so it's a lot of really saying, okay, wait, how can we connect to this higher power? Or we could think of it even as a lower power, like inside of us, an inner space. So we have these three players who are, they're playing a strong game this year of saying, okay, we're going to have some physical traction. We're going to make some physical moves, but we're also going to have a lot of expansion in terms of our beliefs and our hope and our optimism. And at the same time, we're also going to be connecting to this power. And this power, I like to call it the force of life. I like to think of it as whatever beats our hearts. You could think of it as, a religious archetype, or it could be angels, or it could be the sunrise. Like, it's just this connection. And so one of the things I really want to say about 2019 is that optimism is going to be oxygen. And the thing is, optimism, the paradox is getting larger and larger and larger. Everywhere we look for whatever's good, there's going to be the bad. And whatever I say could offend somebody, or whatever offends me, could not offend someone else. And so there's always this paradox going on. And it's not about ignoring the paradox. It's not about saying, oh, I'm right and everything's good when I'm cracking and breaking inside. It's not about, to positive affirm our worries away necessarily, but it is about taking inventory of what is and then saying, okay, but what can I do about it? Or where can I stand up? Or where can I speak up? Or where can I listen? And so it's this optimism is oxygen, but it's optimism after assessing the situation. So not coming in with blind optimism saying, oh, everything's great, everything's fine, and it's like the ceiling's leaking and my bank account's in overdraft. But it is about saying, okay, my bank account's in overdraft, the ceiling's leaking, but how am I going to proceed? And then adopting the optimism. So I do feel like 2019 is a year like we haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever. And I feel it's almost this precursor to what's coming in 2020. So it's like 2019, 2020. Now it's like the breaking point. And for me, I'm a rip the Band-Aid off kind of person. I'm like, let's extract the tooth, or let's, you know, binge watch the Netflix show. Like, I'm all in person. And so I do feel 2019 is going to be a lot of all in energy. But I also feel like we've all been processing a lot on our own that we haven't been able to come together to really rip off those collective Band-Aids. So 2019 is like, you know, it's going to be a year where it gets done, is kind of what I want to say. But knowing the journey never ends also.
Love that. Love that so much. And what are you most excited about as a person? Because, you know, we can get caught up in this realm where you're doing all these things for all these people and all of these people are relying on you. But what are you excited about? Tell us.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you know, it's funny because I obviously have a lot to say and I love talking and I love communicating. And I'm excited to listen more in 2019, which is, it's like, I never thought I would say this, to be honest, but I'm somebody who often wants to come in and figure out the situation and figure out how I can fix it or how I can help or how I can alleviate suffering. And I think that sometimes that sidesteps admitting that things just are the way they are. So in 2019, I'm excited for some personal things. Like I said, I'm hopefully going to be publishing my first book, The Art of Energetic Astrology. I'm also going to keep rocking and rolling with my podcast, maybe do a book tour or something like that. But that's my personal stuff. But I'm also excited to just come in and check my judgments in 2019 and listen and not get so quick to defend or not get so quick to clean up, but instead just really come in and say, isn't that interesting? Okay. What do you have to say? But what do you have to say? Because a lot of the time I make my mind up before I even, you know, enter a room. And I think that that kind of attitude yields the same results over and over. So 2019, I'm coming at it from a new way of listening more, of having more space in my schedule, of having less ambition, which is weird because I'm like so ambitious, but just less ambition, but more motivation to just be present with whatever is showing up for me moment to moment.
Does anyone do an energetic reading for you, or do you do one on yourself? Is that even possible?
Well, it's so funny because I'll try to do it on myself and I'll stare at my chart and just can't figure it out.
Like you're too close.
I often find it, I guess it's just I know too much with the people in my life, so I find it harder to do readings like for my spouse or for my sister or for these people in my life, whereas a complete stranger, I'm like, oh, that's awesome, great, blah, 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 blah. Although a couple of weeks ago I was going, we're all going through stuff, and I was just sitting there thinking like, I just wish, because I've been getting a lot of really great feedback from my 2019 forecast of it. I'm lucky to just have been getting really great feedback since day one. And I was thinking, I wish I could just double myself and give myself what I'm giving these people. And I was really lucky because amazingly gifted, he calls himself a psychic. He's so much more. I think psychic is one of those words with preconceived notions as well. And his name is Troy Taylor. And he popped into my life, and I had a session with him. And he wasn't doing astrology, but he really mirrored. He was like the Shannon to me. And he actually was the one who told me that I'm impacting millions of people. And so when I told Hillary and Laura that before, so I love that you threw it in there in the bio, but I was also like, I feel like, I have no proof, but Troy is legit. And he said, you know, that what I'm doing is making this huge ripple, which I feel, but there's not always you can't measure that all the time.
Well, and he could be like your Laura, because Laura and I, we are in different teams, but we are just sort of doing the same thing in parallel. And it's really fun to have that accountability partner and kind of friend along the way, because it can be lonely sometimes when you're doing your own thing, right? It could be lonely, and, you want to have someone to share it that understands the walk that you're walking and understands the behind the scenes. And so maybe that's something. Do you and Troy ever plan to collaborate or anything like that in the future?
Yeah, I want to. Maybe. I'll have to send this to him.
We're going to send it to Troy. Troy, come on. We need you. Come on. We need to fill that square underneath us, right? Yeah. We need to pour a little 4 square.
Yeah. Love it.
Cool.
Okay. And I have an idea, and this just popped in. So Shannon, you let me know, and Hillary, if you guys are open to this, but we have a little bit of time. And I know Shannon, you did an exercise on your Facebook Live. It was like an emotional kind of healing exercise. I'm probably butchering the name of it, but you have a name for it.
Oh yeah.
Something, would you be open to like giving our viewers a little taste of that, or something kind of like based off of how the energies are now? I know I've been following you on Instagram and really resonating with how you're like, okay, like rest. Like, and my body physically told me that this week, and you were talking about it. I was like, oh man, she's like doing that. So I don't know if there's something, a little healing exercise that we could do around that. And I'm totally putting you on the spot too, but it just kind of popped
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love that. And so it's called Heartspeak, and it is created, and I invite everybody to check out heartspeak.com, Google Heartspeak, because there is so much information and evidence and research that has gone into Heartspeak. But I'll give you a little spiel quickly, but I won't do it justice because there's just so much information. But Heartspeak was created by Dr. Ann Jensen, who is a chiropractor, but she also did a PhD at Oxford University in evidence-based emotional healing. So she completed this PhD at Oxford University, really kind of like, cutting edge new stuff, and then said, okay, well, what am I going to do with, what do we do now with all this information, all this research that we found that of emotional clearing and emotional healing? So Dr. Ann then created Heartspeak, and she does it in her practice, but also in, I think, 2014 or 13, she created a course so you can get, you can become a Heartspeak practitioner. So of course I was just like first in line, and I actually met Dr. Ann on a web show that I used to do back at that Astrology network back in like 2012 or 11. So anyways, the first time I ever did Heartspeak with Dr. Ann was online, and I was hosting the show and she was my guest, and I had strep throat, and I did this Heartspeak, and I know it probably sounds crazy, but my strep throat symptoms were gone after doing it. And it was just like one of the most amazing things in my life. So I was hooked since then. But the thing is with Heartspeak and the research that Dr. Ann has done is that every physical symptom we experience, or emotional symptom, or stress, so I use it for like, writer's block, or I'll use it for when I open my online banking and I feel stressed out, or you can use it for anything. But everything that we're experiencing has an underlying emotion or a connection to our emotional mind. So Heartspeak doesn't work with the logical mind. It works with the emotional mind, and it uses muscle testing to identify underlying, I like to call them less than beneficial feelings, because no feelings are bad or wrong, but underlying less than beneficial feelings that are at play. And then essentially what we'll do, and we'll do it together, is we can feel those feelings, because emotions just want to be in motion, right? They just want to move. And so we create that container, we feel that feeling, and then we pivot it to a beneficial feeling. So it is a new moon today, which is a really auspicious time for new beginnings. And my episode that I launched today on what the heck is energetic astrology, my podcast, I actually have a really unique take on new moons that has evolved a lot, because I think in our culture, or I guess I should say, I like to call it popular spiritual culture, which is a thing these days, which is awesome. I'm all for the conversation. But the new moon really, and I even was at a teacher training earlier today, and the teacher said, okay, new moon, it's time to manifest our desires. And I was like, oh, no, no, because the thing is, the moon doesn't care about all our physical desires, right? The new moon, or the moon, is about subconscious energy. It's about our feelings, our emotions. And yes, when we're feeling something, it's easier to manifest something physically, for sure, which can make the new moon a time of manifesting, our physical goals. But that's like the secret, all that stuff, law of attraction is great, but it's really just like the tip of the iceberg, because new moon energy, which we're in right now, is about stillness. It's about inside job. It's about imagine we plant a seed. Where does the seed grow first? Down. It roots downwards. So we're in this time, and it's been this week as the moon was fading, and today we have our new moon, but the moon is going to still build this next week. And I'm saying it's like, and I talk way more about this in my my episode, but it's like no hustle during the new moon time. This is like, but it's natural. And I am totally guilty of having my vision boards on the new moon and visualizing, you know, the money in my bank account. I'm totally guilty of all of that. And it left me really stressed out. And this approach to manifesting in terms of, okay, well, I have to do this and this and this and this. To me, I'm a control freak. So it was so much. I'm like, oh, I have to, and the thing is, new moon energy is about stillness. It's connected to the time of our menstrual cycle where we bleed. And you know, when you hear about the red tents or in the past, like that was a time of disconnecting from society. That was a time of tuning in to our bodies or to nature. So yeah, new moon is like, actually press the pause button, everybody. Have a nap. And if, you know, I know it's really easy to like read all the books and all the self-help books and all the personal development and think, oh, I got to make this list or my desire map or all these things. And whereas that can definitely work for some people, a lot of the time, the best thing you can do on a new moon is nothing, you know, and even if that's just for a minute, even if that's just for 30 seconds.
We need you in your back pocket. We need you to remind us of this a lot. We're going to make a flat Shannon. We're going to make a flat Stanley, a flat Shannon, and we're going to carry her around and put her in her pocket. And she's going to say, take a nap. Okay.
Yeah. Right? Do nothing. And it's really, you know, it's like, this is the medicine I need to hear the most. So that's why this is my kind of my new, it's just something that's kind of come up. It's really fresh in the last 6 months of really realizing, whoa. As much as there is a popular culture around manifesting and working in tune with the cycles, we're also, you know, not everything is about our physical gains, right? Or our material gains. And I said in my podcast today, I'm a little bit, I don't know, this voice that comes in my podcast is just cut to the chase type thing. But I said, you know, the moon doesn't really care about our material gains. It cares about how we feel, and it cares about, you know, how we nurture ourselves. So if you take away one thing from this, it's like every new moon, find some space to rest. And leading up to a new moon, find some space to rest. And even if that just means, you know, usually you answer emails and talk on the phone at the same time. It's like, okay, maybe you just answer emails. Right? It's not saying you have to do nothing, but where can you pull back just a little bit? It's like, maybe, you know, usually you wake up at 5:30 every morning and go for a jog. Maybe you wake up at 5:45 and go for a jog that's half as long. It's so you don't have to, like, you know, stress yourself out by doing nothing. So what we can do, which is, again, you send one question my way and I'll just talk forever. Like I said, I got to learn to listen more. But we can do this heart speak around just pausing, around just stillness, and around feeling like it's okay to just pause. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm. That sounds more than good.
Awesome. Everybody's commenting saying that they love naps, and
you're getting all these. Everyone's loving this. Everyone wants to nap together. We should have nap therapy.
Right. Sleep is medicine. Like I grew up like such a sleepy kid, and my, you know, dad would tell me I was lazy and get out of bed and wake up, and I'm like, no, I think we do some of our best work when we're sleeping, because we can let the subconscious, which is a huge part of us, you know, do the work for us. So how HeartSpeak works is basically we'll use this energy of, so this is what I'll say, we're all invited to join. And again, this is something where we don't need to talk about the story of these feelings. So again, let's say anger comes up. We don't have to figure out who we're angry at or why we're angry, or we're just working with the emotional mind, where we're just imagining it's just the sensation. So let's look at that, like allowing ourselves to rest. So let's all, you know, I'm going to close my eyes. You can close your eyes if you want, but bring in that feeling of just doing nothing. Chances are there could be a resistance there, you know? And so on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you with the feeling of doing nothing? So give yourself a number, and 10 will be like, I don't want to do it at all. I do not feel comfortable. I have so many things to do. And then 1 is like, do something. Why would I want to do something? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you right now, today, doing nothing? And just get your number. So I'm like at 8. I'm like, I want to do a lot of stuff. So all of us now feel into that number, and I'm going to muscle test myself over here and see what is going on. So there's something to clear, and I'm going to ask, is it an emotion? No. Is it an urge? No. Is it a resistance? So it's a resistance, a muscle testing. Is it pull? Okay, so it's the resistance to pull. So what we're going to do is we're going to clench our fists as if we're doing a tug of war. So we're going to bring up this feeling of doing a tug of war. And we're feeling like, no, it has to be this way. I get really aggressive sometimes during this, but it's like, no, pulling the way, and you're invited to just feel this with me, but especially the physical sensation of the clenched hands can really help this. And so imagine that we're playing this tug of war, and maybe it doesn't feel like a game, it feels like survival, and we have to pull, and we have to say, no, this is how we do it, and we're not flexible, and we need to win, and we have to pull, 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 pull. And so bringing up this feeling without any, figuring out why we're feeling that or what, bringing this feeling of no stubbornness, it has to be this way. I have to control, I have to pull everything in, and feeling this as strong as you can. And if you need to take a break, go ahead. But I'm going to invite you to try one more time to bring it up. And so bringing up this feeling of no, my way or the highway, pulling it in. And when you're ready, you got 2 more seconds that you can pause this if you want to keep going into it or go later. But now what we're going to do is we're going to sit up nice and tall, and we're going to open our palms. And we're just imagining that that rope is just sliding out. And it's this feeling of just letting go or ease. And I always like to really just think about the physical sensation of clenched fists to open palms. No control. Just opening up, letting it go, letting that rope fall. And maybe just taking a breath, giving yourself a little pat on the back for trying something new, and, cutting yourself some slack if this feels weird and you think you're doing it wrong. It's all good. And now, coming back into this moment of asking ourselves, okay, how do I feel doing nothing? And just notice, maybe and where's your number at now? We do have no judgments. Maybe your number went up. That's okay. Maybe your number went down. Where are you at doing nothing? I'm still kind of up there. I'm like a 7. I like to do stuff. So so if you want to continue following along, joining me, noticing what's your number now? Just doing nothing. I'm still up there, so I'm going to test. I'm going to muscle test. Okay, there's still something there, and I'm going to see, is it an emotion? Is it an urge? So it's an urge. Is it the urge to fight? The urge to flee. So it's the urge to flee. So now, if you'd like to continue with us, eyes closed or however you feel comfortable, imagining that there is something threatening us. Maybe we're animals out in the jungle and there's a predator and we need to run from that predator, right? The urge to flee. We need to flee. We need to run. We need to run away from it. And so feeling this feeling, running away, taking off, it could be survival mechanism. I gotta run away from it. I have to run away, run away, run away. Again, we want to feel that as strong and as long as possible. Feeling running away, can't look at it, dash, get out of there. It's like a kid getting caught in somewhere they're not supposed to be. They got to run away, get away from punishment or that threat. And I'm going to invite you to try one more time to pull up that feeling of fleeing the scene, taking off. And when you're ready, finding your sit bones, sitting nice and tall, taking a deep breath, and imagining that instead of running from whatever that is, we turn and we look at it. And it's like a wind that goes through us or around us, kind of like the wind going through tree branches or like a rock in a river. And this energy that we thought we had to run away from, we take a look at it and it just flows around us because we're so strong and grounded and rooted that we don't have to run from it. But it's safe to just look at it, even though, again, we're not getting too into the story of what it even is. And so just one more time, if you'd like, feeling that feeling, maybe imagining you're a beautiful, strong tree with your branches and the wind's just moving through them. And all is good. Okay, so now, whenever you're ready, just come back to that feeling, doing nothing. Yeah, I'm still not 0. And the thing is, we could go on and on and on, but I'm just going to test one more time so we can all bring in that feeling of doing nothing. And it tested strong, which means our bodies are like, it's enough for today. And the invitation, if you joined along for that clearing, is give yourself some extra water tonight. If you have water right now, take a sip, because again, we're working in our emotions, and our emotions are so linked to that element of water. And so water can really help. And also just be patient with yourself, because I like to say, let's say for me, whenever I cut gluten out of my diet, I always get a really bad headache, right? I always have these detox symptoms. And so maybe you're feeling like, oh, I have a headache now, or I'm feeling a little, ugh. And that could just be something moving out of your system. So again, we don't want to judge, was that bad? Was that wrong? I shouldn't have done that. Now whatever. Doesn't matter. We're in that emotional mind, and just cutting ourselves some slack, maybe giving yourself a high five for trying something new. And if you can, maybe have some uncensored downtime tonight, even 30 seconds.
Thank you, Shannon. That was so amazing. I hope that people that are watching the replay are enjoying that as well, and then they'll always be able to catch it. We'll be posting this on YouTube and our Two Curls on Oil Facebook page. So I would love to invite people that are watching the replay to just come back to this when you feel like you need that, when you feel like you need that check-in, energetically speaking. And a lot of folks are commenting about this, and they're sharing their numbers, and this is really great. And
cool.
I want you to be thinking about this. This is what the heart of what Shannon does. This is the energetic vibration that she wants you to be able to tap into, and just the mindfulness of the awareness of all of that. And we're so busy being busy that sometimes we don't realize we need to have that little check-in. And I felt that the other day. I was just having a really bad headache, and I just felt like I was overwhelmed with my list of things I needed to get done. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm done. I'm done all of that stuff. And I'm going to go listen to Shannon's podcast, because I needed to catch up anyway. And it was perfect. And the message you shared on that, it was the third podcast, and it just was perfect for me. It was exactly what I needed to hear. And it was me making that mindfulness and the awareness to say, I'm done for today. This is enough for me. I need to take a break. And that is growth. And that, because a year ago, I wouldn't have done that. I would have been like, nope, I'm going to get it. I'm going to stop when I'm done. And there are times when you don't have that flexibility, but I love that having you in our ear, and our little flat Shannon that we're going to carry around, so we can carry you in our pocket. And when we need an energetic check-in, we'll know where to go. So thank you so much for sharing all of that.
You're so welcome. And even, for me, because I get really, I can be controlling, I can be stubborn. Even sometimes, even if I'm like in line at the grocery store, or I'm having a fight with my boyfriend, like I'll just clench my fists, and I'll just and I'll just do that little sensation helps me a lot. And I think, I feel like we charge our iPhones. We know we have to plug our iPhones in, right? We know the sun goes down for half the day, but then when it comes to ourselves, we just are so bred to go, 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 no pain, no gain, work hard, that we really have to reprogram, or we have the option to. And I think that is the game changer. So high five, Hillary, way to go.
I love this so much. Self-care and resting is like one of my vital needs after getting really sick with cancer from pushing myself too much. So speaking to my soul, and that's one of my platforms that I love to tell people. And I love that you are a voice for this, because in today's society, it's the exact opposite. It's like, right? It's like push and do more and and this feeling of unworthiness and not enough. And I love how you beautifully tied that in, like with our cycles and that divine feminine of, we can just tune in. And I don't know about those watching, but I just feel like, I'm so much better.
I know, I felt like my brain I felt like it was like a brain massage when I was listening to Shannon's podcast. It could have been also the magnesium in my bath, but both I was practicing self-care, and it was just so wonderful. And I love that. It's so aligned. I feel like whenever I hear you speak, I feel like I'm in alignment. It's almost like you're like our like virtual chiropractor, and you're like, like cracking us where we need to be cracked, and just like, you know what, I need to adjust you a little bit, okay? Like, and then you're back in alignment with where you need to be energetically. So you're an energetic chiropractor. Add that to your resume, okay?
That's so amazing. And I think the thing too that I like to and I didn't mention this, so I'm just going to add it quickly, is that, sometimes being in alignment doesn't mean everything disappears, like all the problems, right? Sometimes it doesn't mean, oh, you know, great, I'm going to quit, you know, this lesson. But for me, having this energetic awareness has brought me peace of mind or clarity, or even just self-compassion during really difficult times where the difficult things aren't going anywhere. But it's almost this idea of like, you know, we can look at that weather radar and see, okay, the storm's coming in, but the storm's not going to stay forever. But we don't have, you know, we're not given a radar for these larger planetary cycles, right? We're not told things are going to end. So sometimes when I do come on and I'll just be like, hey, everybody, it's heavy this week. Next week will be better. That doesn't mean ignore what's heavy, but it can bring us, like, at least myself, so I'm like, okay, you know, this too shall pass.
That is so awesome. Oh my gosh, Shannon, this has just been absolutely incredible. I want people to stay in connection with you. Can you tell us how everybody can follow you, connect in, learn more about your perspectives? How do we keep up with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just want to say thank you, ladies, so much. Like, I don't know how I'm going to fall asleep now. I'm like, I gotta go for a run or something. Like, here, again, I should probably do nothing, right? I practice what I preach, but I'm like wired. But this has just been so fun. And I just really want to just see both of you and what you're doing and the shares you're doing and all of it. So just want to take that minute to thank both of you for having me, and thank you for the light that you're sharing out in the world and the impact that you're making. And how can you find me? So Instagram is my preferred method of connection, which is just Shannon Hugman. So yeah, I post like frequent every couple days, a forecast to like my grid, but I also am posting stories pretty regularly too. So Instagram, check out my account, like the actual posts. I know some of us, like, I didn't even look at accounts for so long. I was so obsessed with stories, but I'm doing both. So Instagram is a great way to connect. And what I like to say, my new kind of approach is, yeah, we all know Instagram's going to show us, you know, the things that they want to sell to us, or the algorithms. So my invitation is, come find me on Instagram. Maybe search for me every other day. Just, again, by putting me in, you know, your little search bar and wanting to check out the current energies, you not only are you telling Instagram you want to see me, but you're also going to see me. Because I think we can have this conversation of, you know, like, oh, the Instagram algorithms are crushing my business and they're ruining everything. And I was definitely in that space because I've seen my organic reach just plummet. So now my invitation is, well, come find me. Just search my name. You know, we don't have to wait for Instagram to show you to me, but definitely follow, because that helps too. But Instagram is the way to go. However, I'm also on Facebook, if you're Facebook, and I have a page. So it's Shannon Hugman. Hillary said it before, but it's facebook.com/Shannon Hugman Energy. So that's my page. That's where I post everything. You can add, I have a personal profile. If you want to be friends, go ahead and add me, but I don't really go on it very much. And again, in terms of getting working together or checking out my offerings, that's all at shannonhugman.com. So again, so long-winded answers. Shannon Hugman is the way to go. So it's like, just Google Shannon Hugman. You'll find my website. Go on Instagram, type in Shannon Hugman. On Twitter, I'm Shannon Hugman. On Facebook, my page is Shannon Hugman. So there's, that's how you find me.
And so how are we going to start this campaign, Laura, to bring her to our towns for book tours? So can we just start this campaign where we say, Shannon, come to our city, and you create a post on Instagram and say, comment below with the city that you want me to come to. And then the ones that win get to glitter bomb you with hugs, and you get to come and see us. How about that?
Yes.
Okay, we're doing it.
Yes. I needed that. I needed that little, because yes, it's been a long time coming. So I'm a big yes.
So ask the people will give you what they want. We'll tell you where we want you to come, and then you can choose your own adventure and go down the path you want to go. And hopefully that will bring you to Texas and Virginia and fun places. Yeah.
I'm in. Big yes.
Cool. Good. And we actually have a special surprise for our viewers, because we are giving away a complimentary 2019 forecast, a personalized forecast from Shannon. We are donating this to one of our amazing viewers because we want to support Shannon's business, and we are just so grateful for her being a guest. So we are going to be gifting one of you this amazing gift of the 2019 energetic forecast from Shannon. So we will announce the winner. Laura, I think we're going to announce the winner tomorrow because it's getting late over here on the East Coast. So we're going to announce the winner tomorrow. And then when you win, we will reach out to you and let you know what information that Shannon will need to be able to provide your reading. And then she will send it to you via email, and it'll be about a 5 or 6 minute audio clip, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So you'll receive that, and it is going to be mind-blowing. You're going to love your energetic chiropractic checkup, and you're going to feel so aligned. You're going to love what Shannon has for you. I just, we just love you so much.
I love you ladies too. Thank you for giving this away too. It's just like I said, my cheeks hurt. I'm smiling so much. So enough said.
Good Vibe Tribe. The Good Vibe Tribe is here to stay.
So
yeah, absolutely.
With a learning comment, something that you learned from Shannon, something that you took home, a great takeaway, or something that you found that was beneficial from this podcast, and we'll get you entered into this giveaway, and we'll select a winner tomorrow in post, because I know Hillary and I have both had this personalized forecast reading done, and it was incredible, and we have to share with you guys.
And I've been re-listening to it. And I think that whenever I've been going through a transitional stage, I re-listen and I gather nuggets that I didn't even gather because they were sort of like little hidden Easter eggs for me. And I think that you kind of unpack that one at a time when you need it the most. And so that's what I love. And I love when friends of mine have gotten their readings and they're so excited to share with me. And it's just been awesome because I feel like it allows me to help support someone when I know what direction they're going. You know, it's like your energetic GPS, and I can help you and be supportive of that direction if I know where you're going and where you're headed. And so it's been really fun to hear the feedback from all of my circle of people that have gotten their readings too. And I feel like I need to have like a quarterly reading with you. I feel like I need to have this check-in because I feel like it's just helping to bring peace to me. And so what would people expect from a personalized, like a one-on-one reading with you? Do you prefer Zoom? Do you prefer the phone? What's your typical method that you prefer?
Awesome question. So pretty much you have options. So Zoom, Skype, which not a lot of people use Skype anymore, but Skype, phone always, also FaceTime. Facebook Messenger, I've done it over video, Instagram video. So pretty much when you go to shannonhugman.com, you will see my 2019 forecast on the top because that's what I'm promoting because, 2019 is coming. But you scroll down and you'll see one-on-one sessions. And you basically just click there. You enter what time zone you're in. It'll pop you up with a calendar. You click which slot you want and you go to your intake form where you would then input your date of birth, your place of birth, and if you know it, your time of birth. If you don't, that's okay. Then there's also a slot where you can enter any birthdays of relationships you'd like to look at. So you can put your spouses, your kids, whatever you want to talk about. And I offer 30-minute sessions and hour-long sessions. Okay. And then there's a slot where you can ask questions. And then you enter how you would like to connect. So basically what I like to say is my one-on-one sessions, like I said, they happen over video or all those different ways or phone. It's a time where it can totally be a conversation if you want it to be. You can ask as many questions as you'd like. You can throw in as many relationship birthdays you want. But a lot of the time I find people just sit and listen and don't really have questions after because they're like, oh, well, that makes sense. But I also, I go into whatever area you want to talk about. I like to say, the birth chart, which is the tool that I use, along with my own intuition and, reading the energies and current energies too. It's space, right? It's infinite. So we can talk about it forever. We can cover every area. We can go really deep into one area, or we can touch base on all different little areas. So sometimes the first time people, they don't know, they just say general and we just see where it takes us. But then I have my regulars who are like, I'm kind of on call for a lot of people where something happens and then they'll book with me and we'll get really into a specific situation. So it's literally, it's kind of like, what is that? Write your own story. What am I saying? Like choose your own ending is like those books we used to do where it's like, you pick which way you want to go. So a one-on-one session with me, everyone is different. because everybody is different. And I definitely love when people check in seasonally. I have a lot of people who do that. Some people monthly, some people annually, some people once, never again. But there's this opportunity to just, I think I didn't use this language, but I want to, of talking about things that aren't talked about, like feelings, right? Or emotions, or we can have these sensations floating around, or these experiences. And a session with me really kind of puts words to what you probably already know, but couldn't articulate or didn't even realize was a thing. And like I said, you can ask as many questions as you'd like. And it's recorded too. So then you get the audio file of whether it's the 30-minute or the hour, then you get that. And so you can, like you were saying, Hillary, you can listen to that again and again and unpack little bits and pieces here and there. So it's kind of like, very custom to you and what you're looking for and what you're experiencing. And if you're somebody who you're like, I'm just dipping my toe in, let's just say that. I don't know what I want to talk about, and we'll see what comes up. But if you have a certain situation, and I actually like to say one of my online course covers reading relationships, but I don't think I could be in a relationship without having the awareness, because it's changed so much in how I approach my relationships, just having the awareness of ourselves and our awareness of other people. So relationships are really exciting. And one more thing I'll say too that I like to do is there's something called astrocartography. And basically what astrocartography is it takes our planetary energies, where the planets were where we were born, our unique, I like to call it our energy signature, and it puts it on a map of the world, so we can see where certain places influence us uniquely. So that's really cool, because I've had just, some really amazing experiences talking to people and just saying, oh, this place will influence you this way, and them saying, I've always dreamed of living there, or watch out for this place, and them saying that's where I got divorced, or so all these things. So then there's this extension that I also offer, which you can just trickle into a session with me. You can say, I heard you talk about the astrocartography. What's that? And we can look at places in the world too. So it's like, it's outer space, so it just goes on forever. And but I really find having the people who check in with me on a regular basis, it makes a really big difference. But also, the last thing I'll say is when you have a session with me, or even if in the 2019 forecasts, which are recorded, aren't one-on-one, you can always ask me questions later. So if you purchase something from me, you have my support like here on out. So if you listen to your 2019 and you're like, oh, that's great and dandy, and it's not till May 2019 where you're like, wait a minute, I need to clarify you can ask me questions. So not only do you receive our one-on-one time together, but you also have, an open invite to my inbox where you can ask me questions, where you can touch base with me, and you can kind of I'll be there to help you digest the information as well.
So if someone has, let's say, if someone has a 2019 forecast and then they have a check-in with you in January or February, are you able to use that to help support, kind of the growth pattern and trajectory of what's already happened so far? Or is this a brand new kind of, is it sort of an ongoing type of?
Yeah, so great question, because really the fundamental, the common denominator of any session with me is going to be your date of birth and your birth information. So it's always a continuation. It's always an ongoing story. So yeah, it'll be like, excuse me, I remember charts, it's weird. I've looked at thousands of them, and I remember them. It's like I have some sort of connected to some sort of, database or something. But no, yeah, it's definitely a continuation where we'll definitely refer back to other patterns. And that's the beauty of it, is because you get to know it. And that's why I love to teach people how to read charts and create charts, which is the Art of Astrology Online Academy, which again is at shannonhugman.com, because then you can get to know yourself and you can work with yourself, and you can, a lot of people who have sessions with me then buy the course and then continue the learning on their own, and then have another session with me, and then we'll ask questions. So yeah, it's definitely all ongoing. That being said, if we were in the 2019 forecast, tons of home and family came up, and now it's June, and you're like, I want to talk about work, then it's like it can be a new chapter. So it's kind of like a smorgasbord of like whatever you need or whatever you want. And if you want to continue the story, like, you know, you want to talk about the relationship again, we can continue it. And the planet, and what I talk about in my sessions is also where the planets are now, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why it can be really powerful to check in again, because it's always changing. It's always moving. Mm-hmm. It's always shifting. So the 2019 gives you a really great little heads up for the year ahead, but it's also, you know, there's always going to be, you can always add on to it. So I would say in general, I want to say it's going to always be a continuation. We'll pick up where we left off and roll with it. But that being said, if we don't, you know, if you broke up and you don't want to continue that conversation anymore, or you quit the job and you want to start a new conversation, then that's what we'll do too.
Is there an age, I was curious about this too, is there an age that that is too young for you to do a reading for, you know, a forecast for?
No. So I've done forecasts for babies. I've done forecasts for children. I've done forecasts to, like, it's funny because I'm really, well, it's not funny, but I'm really mindful of who I'm talking to. So for example, I've done a reading for, you know, like an 8-year-old, and I'm going to use certain language for that 8-year-old. But what I often do is I'll do the readings for the children and for the parents. Sure. So parents will come to me and then I'll give, so I've done readings for babies. I've done readings for like even due dates, which have been interesting. Because again, if we have that awareness of our child, we understand these little unseen, unspoken things that are floating around. Mm-hmm. I've had some really amazing feedback as far as my readings for children go.
All right. Well, I know my mom's going to be reaching out to you for a reading, and I need to get one done for Olivia. So you're going to be busy with us. We've got lots of activity, awesome. But you can handle it when you're ready, because if you need to say no and practice self-care, we'll understand. And you take the time that you need, and we'll be here waiting for all of your awesome nuggets.
Well, I'm always, you know, the thing is for me, I've learned over time, my door is always open. You know, like I'm an online business, I'm always open. But I do have boundaries with that. So in the 2019 forecast, I deliver it within 2 weeks.
Yes.
However, I've been getting them out faster, so it's been about a week, sometimes less. So the thing is, when you purchase the 2019 forecast, you will get it within 2 weeks. Or when you book a one-on-one session, you're booking within my availability. So it's really great to have the privilege, really, to manage what I can give. So whatever's available out there is like, take it. Because if I'm offering it, I want to give it out there. But yeah, like I said, there is a little bit of a delivery time because I'm doing it all one-on-one. And I think I've like, there's been a lot that have gone out and I've been busy with it, but they're just so exciting. It's like something just, I don't know, I just love it.
And we can tell, it definitely shows. Everyone that I know that has had a reading has loved it so much and has just felt so great. And it aligns so well with what we do as well in doTERRA, and we're sharing a lifestyle and we're living this lifestyle and we're sharing it too, that you need to practice what you preach, right? We have to balance these things, and we can't do everything. You know, we can do anything, but not everything all at once. And so it's that fine line of, we have these abilities to share and inspire people and have a platform to educate them, but we also have to do the things that we're inspiring them to do as well in our own homes and in our own lives. And so we are grateful that you are here with us and that we have this for eternity and perpetuity on the interweb, so that we will be able to share all of this with folks that discover us later on. They can come back later and unpack it and digest it. Laura, do you have any other questions for Shannon? This has been so fun.
This has been amazing. No, I just wanted to thank you for your time. I think everybody loved it. I want to honor what you said and just encourage everybody to take some time, carve out some time to rest with this new moon. Mm-hmm. And I know I'll be going back and listening to this again. There were so many nuggets of wisdom, and I posted all of the links to where you can find Shannon, and we'll post them above in the comments as well, so you guys can be sure, definitely follow her. She's a wealth of information. Thank you again, Shannon, for being
here. Thank you so much. You are
amazing. My pleasure. Thank you, ladies, so much. And thank you for everything you're doing, because it shows. You both rock.
Thank you so much. We are so excited for our viewers to explore all of your offerings. And if you are watching and you get a session with Shannon, please follow back up with us and let us know and share with her on her Instagram, and just comment and share, because people see those things and that is a huge impact. And it would be amazing for all of her future viewers to see all of your comments. And when your readings resonate with you, it will be so exciting for you to share with us too, because we would love to share that with our viewers all over. So thank you all so much for watching with us. And thank you again to Shannon for spending some of your time with us this evening. And we will see you all in 2019 for another Two Curls on Oil podcast. And we're going to be switching up the format a little bit. We're going to be inviting guests for, whenever we have them available. We're going to be incorporating incredible guests just like Shannon, and maybe Shannon will be back in the future to talk about some future things. Maybe when her book launches, we can get her back with us, and hopefully, she'll come to a town near you. So you need to request, you need to ask the universe for what you want. If you want Shannon to come to your town, you need to ask, right? So we're going to make sure that we're asserting ourselves and asking for us to have an awesome event with Shannon, so we can hug her in person and we can read her book and support all of her things. But 2019 is going to bring a lot of expansion and change for us in the Two Curls on Oil podcast, and we are excited to bring that to you. So Shannon, thank you for wrapping up the year for us with this beautiful bow of energetic connection. We are so grateful for you. And everyone, we will post the winner of the 2019 forecast with Shannon tomorrow. And we hope you have a beautiful weekend, and the rest of the December month we hope is wonderful, abundant, and filled with naps.
Yeah, lots of rest.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.